Learning what your human design profile is can be completely life-changing. When I learned that I was a manifesting generator 3-5, I almost immediately had a really strong signal from the universe that this stuff is not only accurate and true, but that there's some real magic behind it. So today I'm going to introduce you to what human design is, and we're going to talk about manifesting generators, especially the manifesting generator 3-5 type. Lock in because this is going to be a ride. Welcome to Hexotica, where we're mixing marketing, magic, and creativity into profitable online businesses to fund self-reliant AF alternative lifestyles. I'm your host, marketing mentor, Christine Rice, and this is episode 46. When I discovered that I'm a manifesting generator with a 3-5 profile in human design, it literally changed my life. Like in 24 hours, it changed my life. Now, I know that human design can sound a little woo, and if you've never come across it before, it's going to sound very woo, especially when you learn it was devised by a white dude in 1987. I'll get into more of who he was and how he created that in a bit here. But that is sometimes how I've heard it easily dismissed online. People on social media were like, did you know human design was just created by some white dude? Like, we shouldn't listen to it. But please don't let that stop you from listening, because if you are into any type of spirituality that is alternative, if you have followed the law of attraction, especially as what has been channeled by Abraham Hicks, and you believe in spirituality, you believe in psychic activity, you believe in spirits, open up your mind and listen to this, because this stuff is crazy, y'all. So the more I learned about it, the more that I started to realize that it really explains a lot of the frustrations that I've had in my business over the last decade. And so I recently spent a full Sunday really diving into my chart and really learning about what manifesting generators are, and especially diving into the manifesting generator 3-5 profile type, which is what I am. And let me just tell you guys, I was freaking blown away by how accurately this thing described me, this chart. It was unbelievable. For starters, it explains why I've never been able to force myself into the traditional entrepreneurial mold. Why I get bored so quickly, why I constantly want to experiment, and why some of my biggest business breakthroughs have happened when I stopped trying to force myself to get something to work. And I've kind of just like leant back and been a little bit more flexible. Yeah. So today I'm going to share what I've learned about human design and the manifesting generator 3-5 type especially. I'll briefly introduce you to what human design is in case you have no idea and you've never heard of it. You're wondering what the hell it is. And I'll tell you a little bit about the dude who created it and why I'm keeping an open mind when it comes to believing it. Then I'm going to go into detail about the manifesting generator type especially. And for my fellow ManiGen 3-5s out there, I'll go into even more detail about what that means for us in particular, especially if you are a creative business owner like I am. And I'll share the specific ways that I'm changing how I run my business and how I market it online, and how I'm going to follow my human design chart to do so. So I've been an online marketing mentor for 19 years, right? I've got 19 years experience in running online businesses, and I have a very strong belief in the law of attraction and in manifesting, in having a growth mindset, in learning whatever I can that can just help me make my life feel more interesting, make sense of it, and make me feel good, right? And helps me kick ass in my business and in my life. So if that sounds like you, if you are of that mindset as well, then you are going to love learning about human design and your profile type. First of all, what is human design? So if you've never heard of human design before, think of it as a personal development system that combines ideas from astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system especially, and modern science to create a unique energetic blueprint for each person. People who are into human design believe it reveals how you're naturally designed to make decisions, work, communicate, and interact with the world. Human design groups everyone into one of 5 energy types. Manifestors are about 9% of the population. They are the initiators. They thrive when they start new ideas, they create movement, and they lead the way rather than waiting for permission. Generators are about 37% of the population. They are builders. They have consistent energy for work that they genuinely enjoy, and they often find success by mastering their craft over time. Now, manifesting generators are around 33% of the population, and they combine the qualities of manifestors and generators. So they love variety, they move quickly, they juggle multiple interests, and they often discover the best path through experimentation rather than following a straight line. Projectors are about 20% of the population, and they are the guides. They excel at seeing how people and systems can improve, and they thrive when others recognize and invite their insights. Reflectors are about 1% of the population. They're pretty rare, I suppose. They are the mirrors. They reflect the health of the communities around them, and they often need plenty of time and the right environment before making important decisions. Whether you see human design as a spiritual practice or just simply as another framework for understanding yourself, a lot of people, especially spiritual business owners, are going to find it offers a very fresh perspective on why they naturally think and they work the way that they do. I did. So who invented human design? Yes, it was some white dude in 1987. But here's why I'm not going to dismiss it, right? All right, so human design was created by a guy who called himself Ra-Uru. He was a Canadian-born guy. His real name was Alan Robert Krakauer. And he introduced this system in 1987 after what he experienced as an 8-day encounter that was with a mystical entity or experience. Basically, he said that he channeled it. A lot like Abraham Hicks said that, she channeled the Abrahamic law of attraction, the book that is so popular and that most of us follow. I, for one, do believe in channeling. I believe that there are spiritual encounters. I believe there's spirits talking to us. So that's why I'm keeping an open mind with what this guy says he channeled, but mostly because it's so accurate, right? So according to him, he channeled this stuff. And what it is, it's a combination of many different elements from many different mystical and traditional alternative spiritual traditions, including Western astrology, the positions of planets at birth, the I Ching, which is the ancient Chinese system of 64 hexagrams, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, especially this one, which is the 7 energy systems in our body, the Kabbalah tree of life, which is a mystical framework from the Jewish tradition, and then finally quantum physics, terminology, and concepts from modern science. So the result became what human design calls a body graph, a personal chart calculated from your birth date, time, and location. So if you're watching the YouTube video, this is my body graph. It is my human design chart. Now, human design practitioners believe that this chart reveals your energetic blueprint, right? It includes your decision-making style, your strengths, your challenges, your weaknesses, and how you interact with the world. Human design practitioners will follow it for everything from what they eat to how they sleep to how they move, everything. It can inform many different areas of your life, right? All right, so you might be wondering, why should you believe in human design? Well, here's why I do. So the short answer is believe in human design if you find it personally useful. Because it's not scientifically proven, right? A lot of things that I believe in are not scientifically proven. Do we need everything to be scientifically proven? Well, yes, if we're going to make laws about them. But if we're going to use them for our own personal practice, we don't need them to be scientifically proven. If we're not batting someone over the head and showing up on their door, knocking on people's doors with our little book club, then we can we can just kind of keep an open mind and believe what we want to believe, right? We don't need to have everything scientifically proven. If you need everything in life to be scientifically explained in your life, you're not leaving any room for life's magic. A lot of things can't be explained yet, though science does have a weird way of catching up to a lot of spiritual beliefs that people initially think are all theory or hooey. So, one of the best examples of alternative beliefs, knowing what science later proved, is the book The Body Keeps the Score, which showed well before science was able to prove it that the body holds trauma, and that trauma that is held in the body for too long can manifest into disease. The big connection in that was stress and how stress affects the body. We didn't understand in the old days that stress causes cortisol, cortisol causes all kinds of problems in the body, and it leads to disease. But somehow alternative spiritual practitioners always knew this. So that's just one example. Personally, I shun all religions because I think they try to usurp life's magic and they try to explain everything, often in very sloppy, outmoded ways, and usually through some patriarchal lens as well. But I am deeply spiritual. I like to keep an open mind that there are truly psychic people who can see and speak to spirits, like angel guides who are channeling information from other realms that we cannot see or that we cannot prove with science, right? Like the guy who brought us human design. And I have previously featured some psychics on this podcast. If you'd like to listen to those, go and check out episode number 10, Clearing Negative Energies and Manifestation Blocks via Remote Energy Clearing with Angel Guide Sam Ricci, and episode number 30, Protection Spells to Hold Energetic Boundaries and Call Your Power Back with Emotional Support Witch, Madam Creatrix. Both of those women are psychics who are in touch with the spiritual world, and their interviews are fascinating. So while human design does not currently have strong scientific evidence supporting its claims, probably never will, many people, like myself, get drawn to it because they experience it as a powerful, astonishingly accurate tool for self-reflection. For some people, human design provides language for patterns they've noticed about themselves but just couldn't explain. Someone who discovers they are a manifesting generator, for example, might recognize themselves in descriptions of having lots of energy for exciting projects, needing variety, learning through experimentation, and feeling frustrated when they're forced to fit to rigid routines, right? A projector might feel seen by the idea that they naturally notice patterns in people and systems, but they burn out when they try to work like a generator. And a reflector might connect with the idea that their environment strongly influences their well-being. The value often comes less from proving whether the system is objectively true and more from asking, does this framework help me understand myself better and make choices that feel more aligned? Many personal development tools work in a similar way, right? We've got personality frameworks, we've got journaling prompts, coaching models, and archetypes that often act as mirrors to help us get to know ourselves, right? And they encourage us to pause, reflect, and consider some new perspectives on life, right? So the healthiest way, I think, to approach human design is probably with curiosity rather than blind belief, right? You don't need to accept every concept as fact, right? You can treat it as a framework, experiment with the ideas that resonate, question the parts that don't, and observe whether it helps you make better decisions. The question isn't necessarily, is human design completely true, or is it completely bullshit? A more useful question might be, does this help me become more aware of who I already am? So for me, that answer was a resounding fuck yes. I just thought it was really, really good for insight. All right, so moving on. What is a manifesting generator type in human design? So the manifesting generator energy describes someone who is designed to explore, create, experiment, and respond to opportunities that spark genuine excitement. So in human design, each energy type has a signature emotion that tells them when they are in flow or when they are aligned, right? So this is where often we talk about energetic alignment. It's that main emotion. So for many gens, that feeling is satisfaction. Satisfaction is the emotional green light for manifesting generators. They are meant to pursue satisfaction over figuring out the how. So if a manifesting generator feels energized, if they feel excited, if they feel genuinely lit up by what they are creating, then that is a sign that they are moving in the right direction. The shadow emotion of a Mani-Gen is frustration. So if they feel frustrated, that is a sign that they need to adjust their course. So when Mani-Gens hit a wall, when things are feeling harder than they should be, they're feeling clunky, boring, heavy, forced, then that is a cue that they need to step back and not push harder. They are being asked to redirect their energy toward what feels good and alive again, even if that means walking away from it, whatever they're trying to do, right? They just walk away, have some time away from it. So the paradox is, when Mani-Gens prioritize feeling satisfied, new opportunities and clarity are going to flow in, right? They're going to naturally start coming in. So this human design type isn't designed to follow a perfectly straight road, right? This is a human design type which is meant to be a little bit messy, okay? It's meant to explore, gather evidence, solve problems, and share the discoveries along the way as it's happening fast. So I love the comparison of correcting your posture, right? That's kind of how I see it, right? When you notice that you're slouching, which I often do when I'm on this podcast, you don't just sit there feeling guilty about it, right? You straighten up and you just keep going. So it's about making alignments with micro corrections in the moment, not dramatic overhauls or restarting, right? That is kind of what I think manifesting generators are meant to do. All right, so what is a manifesting generator 3-5? So the 3-5 profile adds a whole nother layer here, right? It's a life path built around rapid trial, rapid error, experimentation, and eventually sharing practical solutions with others. So the 3 line, known as the experimenter, means that this type learns by doing. For example, reading about something isn't enough, right? You've got to actually do it yourself, or watching someone succeed isn't enough. You've got to try for yourself before you can learn anything. The 3-5 needs to get their hands dirty. They need to test ideas, make mistakes, and discover what works for themselves by themselves on their own, right? They need to say yes to their curiosity, and they need to act fast on their inspiration. So if you have a good idea that comes to you, you have to act fast on it. Because if you do, that is going to help you magnetize your manifestations faster, right? That is when you are most magnetic, when you act fast on your inspiration. Now, the 5 line, known as the problem solver, means others look to you for advice. People with a 5 line often attract projections from others, right? People may see them as someone who has the answer, the solution, or the strategy, and that's the person that can fix the problem. That's why manifesting generators in general are seen as leaders. But when you have a 3-5 combination, you have a natural tendency to take what has been personally tested and turn it into something useful for other people. So that is kind of what you have to offer, right? So this explains why many manifesting generators 3-5s feel drawn to teaching, mentoring, like me, coaching, entrepreneurship, or creative problem solving. They want to transform their experiences into something practical and useful for others. Their success comes from trying many different experiments and sharing them with the world. But the challenge for manifesting generator 3-5 types comes from balancing these two energies. The 3 line needs freedom to experiment without feeling ashamed when something doesn't work, right? And the 5 line needs to be careful not to carry the weight of everyone's expectations or feel responsible for saving everyone, right? All right, so here are some changes that I am making to how I run and market my business as a manifesting generator 3-5. So for me, discovering that I'm this type has given me permission to stop judging the way that I've always worked. Yeah. So the pivots, the experiments, and all the unexpected business directions that I've taken weren't proof that I was doing something wrong, right? They were the process. And that really gels with one of my favorite mottos about trying to learn or do anything or apply anything, which is that Instead of starting over, the I'll start again on Monday mentality, I have a course correcting kind of attitude where I just want to make incremental changes and just keep making incremental changes until I get really good at something. That's kind of always been my motto. And that's what I have found over the years has really worked for me, rather than a start over, ditch everything, tabula rasa kind of way of going about it, right? Now, the single biggest change is now I'm following my excitement instead of forcing compliance to a rigid time-blocked schedule. I'm leaving lots of wiggle room, and I'm giving myself a few important things to choose from rather than forcing myself to follow a set list chronologically. Now, anyone who's listened to this podcast knows, because of my ADHD, I've had to gamify my day, and I follow a time-blocked schedule. I even did a workshop on it. But what is changing now is, rather than fill every block with one specific task, I'm kind of giving myself like, okay, these are the 2 or 3 main priorities that need to get done. Let's see what I feel like doing today, right? So for example, if I wake up inspired to record a podcast instead of writing emails, then I'm going to do the podcast. I'm letting myself pivot without calling it a distraction, and I'm embracing more of a sense of creative flow into my day. So here are some of the more specific changes that I'm making in my marketing as a manifesting generator 3-5. I'm leaning into more response-styled content. Okay, so I've made about 50 podcast episodes now, right? And it's all the response-styled ones that have been by far the best performers. Like, by far. They're the ones that get people going, oh my God, I loved this, or have had the most views, had the most comments, had the most conversations, right? For example, my ranty response to trusted house sitter inshinification, responding to the massive number of Americans who want to leave the US, who are searching for more information about Australia, my scriptless, super niche topic episode on starting a golf business, an idea which made me so excited and happy I just had to do it, and I didn't write a blog post or script, I just got on there and just started talking. And more recently, the last episode, which was my in-depth analysis of the cult marketing tactics I found in a Melanie Ann Lair live video. That one has had such an amazing response. A lot of people DMing me. They're not putting their comments on public, which I find interesting. And this is truly where the 5 line gets its heretic nickname, right? Because we are not afraid to go where other people will go, right? A heretic would be like the very definition of an unconventional, anti-religious creative who is willing to put their neck out, right? The true alternative lifestyle creative. It's practically the entire vibe of Hexotica. So it's heretic. Now, I also don't want to forget that my one and only, like the most viral thread that I ever made was also a response to the Australia Alone season about Gina, the 54-year-old winner of that season. And my most viral ever Instagram reel was also a response to the Goldfield Gothic Festival that I went to in Malden. So the accuracy of my human design type and what my marketing analytics are reflecting is a perfect match. Like, it's literally convinced me that there is something to this, because every episode, everything that I've done that was a response has been my best performing content. So these are definitely the things that I'm going to continue to do, and that I'm going to really lean into a lot harder now. So another thing I'm going to be doing is leaning into my voice using my content. So my chart reveals a strong throat chakra channel, right? It says I have the ability to turn thoughts and vital energy into immediate action and verbalize it powerfully. So I'm choosing to do more YouTube videos, more podcasts, more short form content that's either me talking with the talking head type or a voice overlay. Now, a really funny side note here, and something that I hinted at in the beginning, is that the day after I studied my human design type in detail, right, I got a random text message out of the blue asking me if I wanted to speak at a local networking event that night because the speaker that they had booked had injured herself in a gym that very morning. So because I had just learned that my throat and my voice were my thing, I said yes, of course, right? Now, I took that as a really strong sign or divine guidance that said, yes, this is what I am meant to do. Speak. So that was a very strong message, and it was just amazing. And I while all this using my voice, I need to speak, I need to get on podcasts, I need to do more overlays was in my head. I literally get this text out of the blue asking me if I can speak that night. And mind you, I have not spoken at networking events ever. This was my first time. It was my first invitation. And because I was speaking about cult marketing on that day, I was recording the podcast. I went in and I spoke about cult marketing, and it went really well. So yeah, voicing. It's an interesting kind of revelation. And this is what human design can help you find. It can help you find what is your strength, and you can align your content to that strength. So I really can't wait to see the results of these human design chart following experiments that I am now going to do, knowing what my human design is, right? So please stay tuned. I will be sharing the results with you. I will be sharing what I learned about human design as well. I'm definitely going to be learning a lot more about this because I am hooked. And I've only just started to learn. I've only just scratched the surface, right? I've only just started to learn the details about my chart. And it's already resonating so hard with me. I cannot wait to go deeper with this, right? Like it's just, there's so much more to learn. I'd like to invite any human design practitioners who may be listening to this onto the Hexotica podcast. Get in touch with me, please. I want to talk to you. I'd like to learn more about the other profile types and talk about them here. And I'd like to study other ways to follow my chart in my everyday life, not just my business and marketing. For example, how I eat, relationships, money, those different kind of aspects, right? So if you feel the same, or you're a human design practitioner who is interested in being a guest on the Hexotica podcast, please get in touch with me. I'd love to help you amplify your knowledge and your wisdom with the world. There's just so much that people can gain from this. And I'm really convinced of that. I'm really excited by this. So please come on the podcast. Please let me know if you are interested in speaking to us about human design. I'd love to hear from you. So if you are ready to craft a Hexotic as fuck intentional lifestyle that manifests money and success, if you are fascinated by this human design and business, marketing, mindset, spirituality, and manifestation in general, and all the little strange discoveries that help us build our businesses and on our own terms, then you'll want to join my Money Manifesting Witchcraft newsletter. Every week, I share ideas that challenge conventional wisdom and help creative entrepreneurs make more money without pretending to be someone that they're not. So join my Money Manifesting Witchcraft newsletter to get clarity on what the fuck it is that you want in your life and start a daily manifesting ritual to amp up alignment. It will take you through 10 stages of manifesting in order with a focus on manifesting money with journaling prompts and affirmations. So if you'd like to get ritualistic with your daily manifesting practice, sign up to the Money Manifesting Witchcraft newsletter at money-manifesting-witchcraft.hexotica.link. I will leave the link in the show notes. All right, my friends, now for a little personal update, as I usually do at the end of the podcast. I am so sorry that I was not here last week. I made the cardinal sin and I missed it twice. I'm so sorry. What happened is I went and did a week pet sit on the other side of Melbourne for a lady who I've pet sit now for about seven times. And I took my microphone and I wanted to record the podcast there. But every time I started talking, getting started, I'd hear the pitter-patter of the dogs walk in. And these two dogs are very old and very anxious. And the owner had asked me, please don't lock them in a room. Don't close doors. And she has wooden floors. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to let them hang out with me. But then I'd start talking and they'd get up. And the next thing I'd know, I'd hear these little pitter-patter on the wooden floor. And that, and then the barking and the doors and it just wasn't going to work out. So I decided not to record the podcast that week. And when I came back, when I got home, I had lots of people buy my audit and marketing treasure map, which is great. I love to be busy, but it really made me quite anxious myself with focusing on the podcast when I wanted to get the service done, because my main priority right now is getting money into the business, getting these services done as fast as possible, and helping my clients. So yes, I made the cardinal sin of doing the podcast 2 weeks late. So sorry. But the good news is I have hired a virtual assistant. So welcome, Michaela, to my team. I am now no longer a one-woman show, and she has done some amazing work for me already. And I'm so excited about what I'm going to present next week. I'm going to be talking about ebooks and digital products, specifically the ebook that I have just got Michaela's help put together. And how I'm going to sell it online. So it's something that I have been wanting to do for a long time. It was a project in the back of my head for like 6 months, and Michaela finally helped me get it done. And she did such an amazing design. I can't wait to start selling it, and I'm going to do it in all the places. So I want to talk about that next week. Until then, have a great week. Work hard on your business. Make lots of money. Go and look up your human design chart. You will probably have to give your email to somebody who is offering it for free, but there's lots of different places out there. You can do it. Just Google it. Or go and hire a human design practitioner, because you will want to go deep when you start learning about this stuff, guaranteed. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to hear more, please leave a hex yeah in any of the social media commentary or on YouTube. Oh, and that's what I also wanted to add. I am no longer using my shitty editor for my videos. So I am now using my camera, and you can actually see it's a lot less forgiving. All the little details of my makeup and my wrinkles and whatnot. But we're no longer getting frozen and looking blurry like a marshmallow woman. So I'm really happy about having done that. And it has definitely sped up the process of editing as well, strangely enough. Okay, so as you can see, this is why I need a script, because I get to start going talking like a maniac. All right, have a great week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.